For you guys watching along, on page 33 is the judging cards ready for you guys to score, and they've left some places there to leave some comments about the scoring. So if you guys want to score along and kind of pick your winner, there will be a People's Choice Award on Sunday. So make sure you keep that together as you're watching.
There, he stopped. I leave. I don't keep hanging there too long. You can train one to move around and not stop his feet. You kind of want a little both worlds. You want them so they'll move their feet, but you also want them so they'll stop. If you're not careful, you'll get too much of either one. If you get too much with their feet stuck in the ground, you might think they're quiet, and you'll saddle them up, and then they'll blow up. Real spectacular. It's because they don't know how to move their feet. Help them out a little. There. Good. There, he just about left. Salvage the situation, though. You want to do just enough to expose them just a little bit more, but not enough so they get scared. He's going to have to get used to a saddle banging up there. I'm going to be up there. There, stop. Go to the other side. Still wants to block me a little bit there. There. It's not uncommon for a horse to be one-sided, one side or the other. It can be from lots of causes. Could be from the human, but it could be from when they're on the mare. Some mares will keep a colt on the same side and won't hardly let them suck on the other side. So nature can make them one-sided too. Now that I'm using my coils, I'm going to make sure I have a hold of my rope. If he went to cow kick me or something, I got a hold of it, kick his hind end out of gear, save my body.
You'll have him at his roof.
There, I'm turning it up just a little bit. I'm going to hang in there and see if we'll get him to stop. There. Good. Maybe I'll just pet him. Guy gets going too much. Easy to do. It's always important to give them a chance. Lick their lips like that. That's a good spot. I'm not going to go to working on one when they're still working their lips. That's a good thing. They're just coming down, relaxing. I don't want to discourage that. Kind of want to encourage it. Rub on his girth a little bit. There. There. And see if I can start rubbing my rope down his legs a little bit. You take one when you're saddling your colt and you can't get a hold of your cinch. I bet you if you can't grab your cinch under there, you can't touch their leg. If they can handle that, they'll be way more apt to stay still for you as you're saddling. And one day you're going to pick their feet up anyway. It's a good way to start preparing them for that. You're getting better. I don't need a lot of tools when I'm starting a horse. I can get pretty well everything I need done with my rope and my flag and my saddle and another saddle horse. Lots of times at home I'll use another horse because I can get two worked while working one. But this isn't home, so I'm afoot.
Should have had you out there, Hugh, on smoke, helping him. with a saddle horse.
And rub pretty hard
Yeah,
on his
that-
girth there.
That does make a difference. This was at the Ivan Daines, what he called the Canadian Horse Training Championships, and Tommy DeRoche was working with a pretty fractious young filly, and so I just rode in there on smoke and kind of made a huge difference in this filly getting her attention and her security. But Dustin, do you start a lot of your colts from a saddle horse at home?
Fair few, probably majority. But that's just because I don't like to walk, mainly. And like I said, you get too worked. When you're riding horses for a living and that's what's paying the bills, you learn how to be efficient. If not, you'll be a broke trainer. That's pretty good, and it's always important. Loosen that rope off their neck all the time. If it's always tight, you can put a brace in them with it. Just kind of encourages them to relax a little more. Not going to get in a hurry to put the halter on. It's always important to let it take as long as it needs to take. Start shortcutting it, it'll show up. I've got lots of practice at that. You can do lots with your halter shank. Check them out on their girth. It's a push and a pull and a release. I want them to get used to that. Cinch is going to have to go there. Back cinch there, that's a pretty good change. Good spot.
Yeah, Daffy's thinking it over now. He was really licking and chewing there.
Work on your timing. Learn to catch that halter shank underneath.
Just so you know, Dustin, you got 30 minutes left on the clock, half an hour to go.
Okay.
I always hated hearing you say that. It's different when I'm on this side of the fence, though.
There, he's pretty good.
Yeah, managing the time is a big part of it, isn't it, Cade, when you're in there?
It's something you try not to think about, but it keeps creeping up on you all the time. Time should never factor in what you're doing with a horse, but usually in these events, everybody's such a good trainer, they know how to do both.
When I'm putting my pad on, I don't hide it or try to be sneaky. I try to be soft. I'm not banging them with it, but they need to get used to things moving, because if you're too careful with your pad, how are you going to put your saddle on that weighs 40 pounds without spooking them? And then there is a line, how much you do on everything. I mean, some horses will put up with a lot and fill in for the human. But you get some real tough ones, you only got windows to get things done. You miss those windows, use your pad too long, then they'll learn the difference between your pad and your saddle. They'll have you figured out now. You go back, use your pad, they'll be quiet. You go put your saddle on, they dump it, or you don't even get it on. And then you just taught them to know the difference between the two. That goes with everything. You know, working with one all around a horse on their feet or whatever, riding. You got to start paying attention to when you got something good going and quitting when it's good, when the going's good, not when it starts going bad and then trying to salvage something out of something you created that you maybe didn't even realize you created. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just part of learning. You're going to make mistakes. There's no shortcuts for experience. People might try to tell you there is, but there isn't. And I put my saddle on just so it fits. I don't want them to startle. Trying to keep this first saddle in a good experience. Keep things smooth. I work on being smooth every day. Even on my horses that are broke, I still saddle them like I'm saddling a colt, working on myself. Then when you do work with your colts, you just do it automatically instead of getting sloppy and saddling your old saddle horse and then go saddle your colt and you're sloppy and you slap him, he blows up, dumps your saddle, rolls under his belly, kicks it apart. Now all that was just human error. That had nothing to do with the horse. That's just because you made the mistake, not the horse. Everybody wants to blame the horse all the time. Nobody wants to be accountable for nothing. I got my front cinch tight enough. I think it'll stay. I'm not in a hurry to get my back cinch. I don't hang out in front too long. If I can see both eyes, that's a bad spot to be in. They get scared, they hunt you up, they'll run you over. If you're on one side or the other, it's the safest place to be. You got time to step in or step away. There, I always make sure that I got things set up when I go to switch eyes, get on the other side. I don't dilly-dally around, or I don't got a whole bunch of float in my shank. I'm all about creating habits. Habits, so when you're, what do I got going on? Breast collar's upside down. It's about creating good habits, so when you do get a tough one, they're easy, because you're smooth. You're aware of your actions. You're aware of what you're creating. All it is awareness of your horse and your surroundings. And the biggest one is yourself. You got to be aware how your mindset is, or if you get studying yourself enough. And the days that you have bad days with your horse, it's usually because your mindset's in a bad spot. You're cranky, mad. Next thing you know, your horse is cranky and mad, and you have a terrible ride. And it was never the horse's fault. It was your fault for not being aware of yourself. You got to find ways to ground yourself again and bring yourself back so you're in a good mindset to work a colt, or even your older horse for that matter. Just because they were good yesterday doesn't mean they're going to be good today. Sometimes they got to go a few steps backwards before they go forwards again. When I turn one loose, I always step behind them. I never step in front of them. They get scared. They'll look you up for help. They'll run you over. Once again, no one's fault but your own. It's all right. Just going to kind of let him go. He'll sort it out.
Yeehaw.
You could have ridden that, Cade.
Till about right there.
Oh, you did it last year, right here.
Yeah.
Turn
With
in.
no stirrups and
No
no rein
stirrups.
left. Yeah.
Just going to let him sit there. I can get after him real fast, but he needs time to process things. Next time he blows up, it'll be half as long. If he knows he can stop and have time to think. I get in no hurry. I'm not going to attack him here. Allow him to move off there. He's licking his lips. It's a good change. I'm going to let him kind of enjoy that moment before I can work his lips some more. There's a nice transition. Still a little tight, but that's okay. This is first saddling anyway. This is always good. Allow them to come back. You can always start over. They need to build their transitions. so they get confidence in them, not so that they're tight and be afraid. You can start putting a lot into your horse, not even know it, that you're doing it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. It's just part of learning as long as you're wanting to learn. But if you just keep making the same mistakes over and over again, then it is kind of a problem. You keep blaming your horse. See if I can get him to leave the door. There, working his lips. Still bothered. Doesn't really want to look in on his right eye. Starting to think about it. Ears are moving. See if I can get him to go by. There. He's going to get bothered. I'm going to see if I can get him to go the other way before he gets scared. I don't care if he moves away. There's a try. He wants to turn in, I'll let him turn in. If he wants to go away, that's okay. It's an opportunity to switch eyes. It's not all bad. Maybe he'll stay. Touch him. Set it up so he'll go the other way if he's trying to block me. Kind of a tight spot. See if he'll stop. And I'll drive him off. If I keep going on there, I'll create that. See if I can keep him over here. That's okay. Drive him there. Now I'm going to wait. Switched eyes. Now we'll go again. People can get too focused on worrying about getting a horse to turn into you. There's a lot of good you can get with the horse when he turns away from you because he loses you in those eyes. It's an opportunity to get him switching eyes. It's not all bad. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'll see if I can get him to move. He needs to move around some more. See if I can get him over here. There.
Hey, now that's the part I couldn't do.
The running part?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
I bet you could rope him, though.
Yeah.
See if I can tip him into a lope. See if he'll pick up the left lead. There. Let him drop back. I'm not trying to hold him there. Every time he comes back, it's another opportunity for us to try again. Every time he'll get a little more confident. There. See if I carry him on through. He's going to probably turn away, but that's okay. There. Might as well get used to some of this stuff.
Is that an indication that maybe that buck is pretty well done with?
Nope. He's still got a kink in his tail.
Right.
I fell for that last year. I don't think it's ever done until Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Friday, Saturday goes smooth as can be.
They're still babies.
Well, I'm just going to see him step over to his hip, see what he does. That's all right. We can continue on.
If you guys notice, with all this stuff going on in here, this horse has yet to lose focus. It's been really cool to watch.
There. I want that just to go over the cantle. And if he gets too nervous, it'll probably come off, or if he gets bucking too hard. If you catch your saddle horn with it, then it's kind of stuck. Then you're kind of stuck with what you got. And most times you'll get away with it. But then there'll be one get used to the saddle. It's important for a horse to learn to move out, get freed up, This stuff will take some of that out of there. If you don't, and you sneak around them too long, I mean, you might get away with it over time. Some horses will let you get away with it, but then there'll be that one to remind you you don't know what you're doing. Happens all the time. It's a humbling occupation at times. Just because one thing works for a horse doesn't mean it's going to work on the next. I mean, the foundation to what you're doing is all kind of the same, but you still got to adjust for the individual horse. They're not machines. It's not clockwork. That's a good spot. Just going to let him kind of soak there, work in his mouth. Thinking about me a little more. It's kind of starting to work. If you're not careful and you get too stuck on one thing and you miss an opportunity to allow your horse to stay put, the next thing you just create a horse that wants to go, be bothered, never wants to stand still. He's going to step back if I go any farther, so I'm just going to come back over here, switch it up a little bit, let him think about it. I'm going to come back. If you're not aware of your habits, you can create things by you'll fall into a pattern and not even know it. It's part of what I was talking about studying yourself a bit, and your patterns and your thought patterns, your mindset, all that. All I do know is that if your intention is good, you can get away with doing things wrong, and your horse will still come through because they know. A horse knows.
15 minutes to go now, Dustin.
15?
15.
I'm going to help him a little here, if I can. Help him stay. Again, I get in no hurry when I'm doing anything with their head. Check out his tail, see if he'll step that hip over. Good. If you got a horse that's tight or bronky, you grab a hold of that tail, it's going to be tight. And if it's still tight when you put your foot in that stirrup, they're more apt to blow up, be scared. There, I'll see you get him walking around me. I'll kind of encourage him with that tail a little bit. He's going to need to learn how to lunge around a little anyway. Opportunity to build on that. I always make sure I'm directing him with my right hand. If my hand's down here, pretty quick here, a horse has no direction, and they can get pretty confused, and then his feet stop, just like that. There. Let's see if I can hang on it in here. There. used to pushing and pulling on my saddle horn. He's going to get used to stuff pulling on his withers. When I go to step on, there's going to be pressure there. See if I can get him to roll around. There. He needs to get used to that stuff. There. Not too bad. I'll see if he'll stop. There. He needs to get used to this stuff. I'm going to have to be able to kick his hip over when I get on. That's my brakes. I want that to be really good. If nothing else, I want that working. A little bothered there, made it. Good. Doing that kind of stuff. It's an opportunity to get them switching eyes. If they're tight in there, when they switch eyes, they're going to be tight when you get on. Chances are they're going to be tight anyway when you first get on a little bit. Wait there. That was better. Comes front end. Good. Good change.
His flank, it's...
There.
He
Then
is,
I'll
but he
move
sure
up to
looks
my
calm
cantle
through
maybe.
there.
Once they're good about going around their hip. She's getting quick. Not too bad. He's not perfect, but we'll see what happens when it comes up here. There's just a little different. I'm just waiting. Just about. Nothing wrong with one working at something like that. It's just a chance to build confidence within himself and within me. See what he does this time. Just gonna wait here. He's thinking. Just about. Trying. Searching. There. It's better. And I don't get in a hurry when I go over the ears. Gonna have to bridle him one day. He needs to be good about his ears.
I think so. That's sort of a question.
There. That was better.
He might be doing it.
Now I'll see what happens. I go back to my cantle. Out of curiosity.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Wait. I don't need to pull.
Isn't it? Yeah.
You just hold and wait.
I don't know.
If you're going to do anything,
Got the combination.
maybe take a step back.
The footing, but that's pretty good.
It's just enough to help them out.
Yeah.
People ask me if I've ever been kicked doing this. Knock on wood. Hasn't happened. Yep, till today maybe, because I said it. There, I'll move up the saddle horn. See what he does there. It's a little more like where your hand's going to be a little bit.
7 minutes on the clock, Dustin. 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm just going to hang in here and block him. It's kind of a delicate spot. I'm trying to not let him get the angle on me. I'm going to hang in there. There. Anyway, I better unsaddle him. I'm going to run out of time. We're just going to have to settle for that. Sometimes it's pretty surprising what you'll end in some places, and when you come back to them the next time you work them, sometimes they can be way better than when you left them, better than you thought. Or maybe they go the other way, and then they tell you that they didn't think too much of what you just did to them. And learning from your mistakes. There, I'm going to take this time, I'm going to rub on them a little bit. Make a little bit of a bond on them, rub on them, they're hot, itchy now probably a little bit.